Welcome to Intersec Pulse, part of Intersec Global and powered by Fire Middle East magazine. I'm delighted to be here in the studio and joined by two pioneers in the firefighting foam industry from Fomtec. We've got the CEO and founder, John Ottesen, as well as Even Ottesen, who is the international sales manager. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here.
Thank you for having us.
Even, I think I'd like to start with yourself as the international sales manager. The Middle East region is clearly quite a key market for you. So can you talk to us more about the importance of this region and what you envisage for the future of the Middle East for Fomtec?
Yeah, the Middle East has been, for a number of years, it's been relatively difficult for us because we haven't really had that push into the market. It took a little bit of time for any traction to build. Now we're seeing that people in the region are starting to realize that maybe our foams are something that they should have. And we're seeing success here in Dubai and also other places in the region. And it feels like that's only going to continue to grow. And as we know, the biggest market for firefighting foam in the world is here in the Middle East, with good reason. There's a lot of oil and gas, a lot of other stuff that needs to be protected by foam. And we see that now our traction is getting better and better. And in the future, we're probably, hopefully, going to capture a lot more of the market down here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Even. And John, I guess as the CEO and founder, I'd like to learn more about what you think has really worked for Fomtec. You're celebrating over 25 years in business now. So what has been the real driver behind your success?
Well, yeah, there's a number of factors, I believe, but we're very, very customer-focused company. Client and customers and partners, I would say, in center of attention, and building long-term partnerships. I think that's one of the keys. We have people that worked with Fomtec from the very early beginning and still very much do that. So I think our customer focus is a very key factor. And then I think that combined with our product focus and a very, very strong focus on product innovation and documentation. I think those three things really has been the key and the passion for the product. I love foam. I think it shines through. And then obviously you got to do the right things. You have to find the right partners. You have to do the right things with strategic decisions on which direction you want to go on product development. And a good team. We're a good team at Fomtec. So yeah, there's always a number of factors and some coincidentals as well, I assume. But I think those will basically summarize the reason behind the growth. Yeah.
Wonderful. And at Intersec Global, there's been a lot of coverage of Envirro, right? The Envirro program. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what this is and what it means for your customers as well?
Well, the Envirro program, was born in 2010 as it became very apparent that the future was fluorine-free. The pressure on PFAS, was mounting. And we saw the need of starting a research and development program to really dive into how to transition away from fluorine. And it's a very difficult task. We're basically taking out the magic ingredient in firefighting foam. And so we realized very early on we need to invest in our research and development. And the Envirro program, it's a research program. That contains all our internal laboratory work, and then combined with all the fire testing that needs to happen. So you're in the laboratory, you're doing all your laboratory work, hundreds of formulations. You pick out your good candidates. You go to the fire ground. You see where you're getting, and then and this back and forth. It doesn't come easy. And obviously we've come a very far way in the past 15, 16 years. The first iterations of these products were, not so good. Today they are matching or very similar to what we saw with AFFF and ARAFFs with our program. So the Envirro program is continuous, and we're climbing that mountain, and you know, with the latest innovations, we think we really have nailed it. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what are the innovations? What new initiatives and what are you going to be bringing to the market through the Envirro program, John?
Well, I mean, it's brought a lot of products over the years. Just glancing back at some of the major ones, you know, we introduced Envirro USP in 2016. It's grown to be a benchmark for foam-assisted sprinkler systems in our industry. In 2021, we brought the Envirro Arc, which was the first ever synthetic fluorine-free foam to pass an FM test with a non-aspirated sprinkler. And so those two were really big ones. And now, during this Intersec here in the region, we are now introducing our latest product, which is the Envirro Neo. And Neo, you know, is squarely focused on the petroleum, oil, gas, the high hazard emergency response sector. With top approvals on EN 1568 and UL 162, last fire, ICAO level B, marine application through IMO 1312, high performance on fresh and seawater. And one very important thing about this is that, you know, we've achieved all of this with a chemistry that is safe.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think I saw in some of the coverage the mention of no hidden gum. Right?
Yeah.
What does this mean, and what are the implications to the performance of firefighting foam, particularly for a user here in the Middle East?
Yes, I mean, hidden gum, it's a virtual word. I mean, if you don't see it, it's hard to grasp. But what it basically means is that there are, you know, lots of companies in our industry, they're using partially hydrated polymers. There's a lot of natural polymers inside of the product. Which make them very attractive from a physical property point of view. They look very low viscous and nice. The problem with that is that the products are, you know, metastable. They have inherently unstable products that can easily stratify and separate. And you can also have spike in viscosity. And we wanted to stay away from that. We wanted to launch a product that was super stable, that didn't use this kind of technology. And we spent 4 years cracking that. It wasn't easy. We gave ourselves a real handicap. So, you know, the hidden gum, why do people use it? Well, it's a poor performance enhancer. It's a shortcut to performance. But at the same time, you introduce a tremendous risk in a product that is metastable or unstable. And we wanted to stay squarely away from it. We spent 4 years with Neo, and we're very proud to introduce it to the market now. Yeah.
Wonderful. And just out of interest, you mentioned the 4 years of developing and testing. How involved is the testing of a product like this from your side?
I'm not in the laboratory on a you know, I leave that to the chemists. But when it comes to you know, fire testing, when it comes to you know, pointing directions and setting targets, you know, I think I need to be the one who points the direction, because I gave the chemist handicap. I said, you simply aren't allowed to use these hidden gums or the you know, partially hydrated polymers, and that was a handicap, because the job of getting this right without it was really tough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wonderful. And I think I'd like to finish with yourself then, Even, as the international sales manager. Intersec Global is obviously a hub. It's a melting point globally for industry professionals to come here and meet. How vital is it for someone like yourself to have a strong presence at Intersec Global?
It's very important. It's a way for us to put a finger on the pulse of the market. We see how many people actually are looking for fluorine-free foams. And we've seen it over the past few years. Some people might bring it up this year. Now it's what everyone is talking about. It's a way for us to speak with end users that come here trying to look for answers. We use this opportunity to reconnect with our existing partners, maybe finding someone new. Being here at Intersec is very important, as it's one of the biggest exhibitions in our industry, and it's kind of a melting pot, because everyone internationally come here. So we're going to keep coming.
Excellent. Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Fontech at future editions of Intersec. And John Even, again, thank you so much for coming here, talking to us about your innovation in firefighting foam. And look, it really is exciting to learn about Neo, and let's see what the future brings for you.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thank you.